determine our 3x3s, right? 3 equations and 3 variables. So in step 1, we came up with right here, right? Oops. Step 1. Sorry about that. Step 1, we came up with negative x plus y equals negative 4. And then in step 2, we came up with negative x minus y equal 2. And we got those from taking 2 of our 3 original equations and putting them up against one another and solving, getting rid of the z in both cases. And then in doing that, we found that both step 2 and the step 1, right, up here, both of those would allow us to get rid of the y variable. And then that's where we ended up coming up with my purple back in here. And then that's where we ended up coming up with our third portion of this, which gave us one variable, x only, and we were able to find out what that variable equaled, which was 1. So I can use that situation, I can use that variable now to try to find out one more of my variables. So I'm going to take, in this situation, I'm going to take either one of them. I'm going to take my my equation, or what I found in step 1, and I'm going to say, okay, well, what if I take negative x plus y equals negative 4? Okay, so you might be asking, well, where did you get this? Where did you get negative x plus y and 4? Well, remember, let's go all the way back to the very beginning of this problem. And I found step 1. I found this when I took and I put this equation and this equation against one another. Remember? The very beginning, step 1. I took those two and I eliminated the z, and then this is what I came up with. So now I'm just going to take this, and since I found out in the last step of my last video that x equaled 1, all I have to do now is just take this and plug it in right there. And so in doing so, I end up saying negative 1, right? Because the 1 went in place of the x, and then I already had the negative here, so it was a negative x, so that gives me negative 1, plus my y equals negative 4. Well, I want to get y by itself, right? So how do I do that? Well, I have to add 1 to get rid of it, and then what I do to one side, I do to the other. So then y equals negative 3, doesn't it? Okay. So that was step 4. Step 4 was pretty quick and simple, wasn't it? So that was step 4. And in step 4, that allowed me to determine what y was. Okay? Y equaled negative 3. So now I'm going to go back and I'm just going to grab, now that I know what x is and I know what y is, I can go and I can grab any one of my other 3 equations and I can determine z. So I'm going to come back now and I'm going to grab this equation right here. It doesn't. You could have grabbed any of them. I'm just grabbing this one. I could have grabbed the equation in red. I could have grabbed the equation in blue. Doesn't really matter. But I'm going to grab that equation. So I'm going to say, okay, 2x plus y plus z equals 1. And I want to remember now, what all did I find? Well, I found that x equaled 1, right? This was all found earlier, that x equaled 1. And then I also found that y equaled negative 3, didn't I? I found that out also. So now I'm just going to take and plug negative 3 in for my y, and I'm going to plug 1 in for my x. And then I end up with 2 times 1, because of the x, plus, remember the y, which was negative 3, plus z equals 1. And so now I just want to put it all together. 2 times 1 is 2, plus negative 3, plus z equals 1. 2 plus Negative 3 gives me a negative 1 plus z equals 1, right? And I'm solving for z. So now I need to add 1 to get rid of it here, and I add it to this side. So then what I'm left with is z equals 1 plus 1, right? 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, so z equals 2. All right, so then in my final step right here, step 5, I found out that z equaled 2. So now what I have done, if you take a look at this, you can see that what I've done is I have found the answer to each, and now I know what number is for each variable, don't I? I found a number for x, a number for y, and a number for z. So in closing this out, I can say that x equals 1, y equals negative 3, and z equals 2. Okay? So what do I have? I have 1, negative 3, and 2. Okay? And that's how I use the elimination process to solve for 3x3 linear combinations using elimination. All right, so if you need, go back and look at the videos. There's 3 videos to this series, where video 1 takes you through step 1, video 2 takes you through step 2 and 3, and this video here, video 3, will take you through the rest of the steps. Good luck.